For those of you that don't know our background, we want to just do a quick introduction of who we are, what we've done, and what kind of traveling we've been doing for the last over a decade.
So our story started in 2008. We had one kid. She was a few months old when we decided that we wanted to show her things. So we started off with an Airstream. Like, we had something before that, but I think it kind of confuses everybody.
Well, the big difference between us and many people that are doing this these days is that we didn't go into this lifestyle at the beginning knowing that this is what we wanted to do. We thought we were just taking a big trip. And I think a lot of people do that now. They say, hey, we're going to just take a 2-3 months trip across country and go check some stuff out. People that are deciding to live life on the road these days kind of go through this whole purging process, and they go through the selling the house, buying a car, figuring out what they want to do, build it out just the way they like it. We did it sort of the slow roll progression kind of thing. We started out, like Marlene said, we started out with a small little modern teardrop trailer called the Tab. And that was sort of our way to get our toes in the water, to test out what this lifestyle is like. Actually, just to test out what RV traveling is like, because we never traveled in RVs before. And when we took our first trip, that's when we got hooked. And this is back in 2008, and we only had one kid. And after that, we decided this is what we wanted to do. We were already working from home. Mm-hmm. So
we said, why stay home?
Yeah.
The road can be our
when
home.
We came back from our little trip, we were like, it's not great to be stuck here. We don't have to be here. So why do we do it? And we have this camper out there. So we decided to, upgrade. Mm-hmm. We probably didn't have to upgrade, but back then, it felt like the right thing to do, because we're like, it's not possible that a family of 3 can live in a small 14-foot thing. But, some of you guys know, we live in a van now with a family of 5, a teenager and 2 that are going to be teenager in a few years. So,
but I think we knew that we were going to have more than one kid. So I think we were just kind of thinking about the future.
When we got our big camper, when we decided to kind of go full time, we decided to go with a 25-foot Airstream. So that's kind of the vehicle that we're known by for many, many years. Between 2008 and 2015, we were living in our 25-foot Airstream trailer. And that went from 3 people all the way up to 5 people. And we traveled.
Plus a cat. We had a cat.
Plus our cat, right.
We had a black cat named Yoda.
She was with us the entire time until the week after it came to Europe in 2018. Mm-hmm. So for those 7 years in the Airstream, what we learned is that layout means everything. And, we'll have a segment all about layout. But this one, we want to talk about just, those 7 years, it really kind of, got us intrigued. And towards the end of that, it's like we decided to travel. Like, our goal wasn't to travel and go to every country in the world, or visit every state in the country even, or visit anywhere else outside of places that seem interesting. Mm-hmm. We didn't have like a goal, but we really just wanted to explore. And I think this will go into like overlanding versus full-time traveling versus RV living versus van dwelling and stuff like that. But after our 7th year, we went to Alaska, and just turns out when you travel long enough, you're going to end up going to all the states. Mm-hmm. So Alaska was our 49th state that we went to. We haven't taken the kids to Hawaii yet, but we've been ourselves. But we've driven to 49 states with all of our kids and our cat. And after that, we realized, well, we're not done with this. We want to keep going. So that's when we downsized to a 4-wheel camper. And we took that 4-wheel camper all over Mexico. Mm-hmm. First in Baja, then we crossed on a ferry from La Paz to Mazatlan, and then we went all through mainland Mexico down to Oaxaca and east over. We didn't quite make it to the Caribbean Sea or the Gulf of Mexico, but we were briefly in Veracruz driving through. Mm-hmm. So after that, the original plan for that was that we were going to go down south, but we had some temporary import permit issues with the vehicle, with the 4-wheel camper that we were in. Mm-hmm. We ended up having to come back to the U.S., and then we decided, while we're here now, let's go up to Canada and see as much of Canada as we can. Mm-hmm. So we've done Atlantic Canada, Newfoundland. Of course, we did BC, Alberta, and Yukon when we were driving to Alaska in 2015. Mm-hmm. And we did all across, went to every province in Canada. And then that's when we decided, okay, we want to keep going. Where do we go next? Mm-hmm. We felt like we've done North America pretty good justice by exploring for 10 years. So then we decided, okay, let's go to Europe. Let's ship to Europe. This is where we are now. Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because Marlene's family's from Croatia. So we would have a home base here and we'd be able to explore Europe. And Croatia is actually a pretty good spot to be because it's fairly central. It's not east. It's not as far east as like Bulgaria or Romania that borders the Black Sea. And it's not west like the UK, France, or Spain, where it takes a long time to get across to the other side. So Croatia actually allows us to kind of explore all of it from here. So that's what we've been doing, and now it's going on almost 12 full years. We're going to be starting our 13th year in November. So that's sort of the introduction and traveling background for us as travelers. For those of you that have never heard the story, feels like we've said the story 1,000 times to different podcasts, different interviewers, and everybody. But now we've got one for Freely Roaming.
From that experiences we had in the U.S. and traveling to Canada, Mexico, shipping overseas, and raising children on the road and homeschooling, or what we call road schooling or world schooling now, we have all of these different type experiences, and so I think it's fun to share what we learned and answer questions that we get online all the time in this type of format.
So that was a brief introduction of our life on the road with our family of 5. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in the next video.